Hello Nidorinas and Nidorinos, I'm KingNido and today we come into from Ula Island where the macros are hosting the Pony Stars in this All Alola region semi-trial. As both these sides, the last time they met they went into overtime, but this time around, if that happens, that will not be the only time they win because it is a best of 3 series in this semi-trial as the winner is looking to move themselves into the final trial. But with that said, let us know in the comments below who you think is going to win this matchup. Will it be the steel types? Will it be the fairy types? Let's go!
3, 2, 1, go!
And it is going to be that Terrestrial Draftee Gallade who helped get the Pony Stars into this semi-trial, being joined by Carbink, who had a fantastic showing last round, but it is going to be Empoleon and Revavroom starting out for the Ula macros, and Revavroom with that speed control immediately goes with the flatter onto Gallade. This is going to boost that special attack that is base 65, is more of a physical attacker, but it is going to leave Gallade in a confused state, potentially confused that it's now a fairy type, but it is able to shake that off because it is well aware of what is going on. But unfortunately it does go for the acid spray, so maybe I have spoken too soon. However, Empoleon is able to go for the Sing, and this is going to put Carbink to sleep on the field, which means it is going to be snoozing away, and we have seen its offensive prowess so far in Victory Road as Revavroom, looking to capitalize, does go for the power swap, focusing in onto Gallade here, switching all changes to their attack and special attack, so it actually takes that special attack boost that it just gave to Gallade, and Gallade is unable to shake off its confusion. It is doing damage to itself, but this is a great start for the macros, playing very intelligently, as it is the Fairy Wind follow-up from Empoleon, chipping away at that highly defensive Carbink, who is still fast asleep on the field, and this allows Revavroom to go with the Prismatic Laser onto Carbink, getting some great damage onto the part rock type there, as Gallade is still in a confused state. It desperately needs to shake this off, but unfortunately it is going to be doing damage to itself once again, allowing Empoleon to go with the Focus Blast, but that is going to be avoided by the sleeping Carbink rolling out of the way, as it does actually wake up, and it is going to go for the Scale Shot. Now this is not going to do much damage here to Empoleon, but this is going to give a speed boost to Carbink, whilst also lowering its defenses, but it has those heavy 150 base defenses to work with, so it may actually become the quickest on the field, and that would be very impressive to see Carbink outspeed a Revavroom. However, Revavroom, still the quickest on the field, does have to recharge, but this opens the door for a Dragon Pulse from Carbink on to Revavroom. Not very effective, but gets in some good damage with that critical play, and Gallade is snapped out of its confusion as well, allowing it to go and make that money with the Payday, although that is not very effective onto Empoleon, allowing the part water type to go with the Flying Press to put Carbink into knockout range. Revavroom, looking to follow it up, goes with the Morning Sun, looking to get itself back to full strength, having not taken that much damage yet though, as Carbink responds with the Steel Roller, but that is going to fail. Gallade, needing to do its part, is going to go with the Bug Bite. Very little damage being done to Revavroom there, but it does take away that Leopard Berry that every Pokemon in the PokeType League does currently hold on to, and it does proceed to chow down on that stolen food, as Empoleon with the Encore that is going to fail, and I'm sure it doesn't want any more stolen Leopard Berries, as Revavroom with the Thunder Wave now on to Gallade. They're working with these status conditions because now Gallade is going to be paralyzed. It will be slowed down. It may be unable to move. However, Carbink is looking to go with the Flare Blitz onto Revavroom. Super effective. Gets in some great damage. There is that recoil damage there for Carbink. The heart and soul of the Pony Stars has been eliminated from this matchup. Empoleon, looking to follow it up, goes with the Payback. Not very effective there onto Gallade, who shakes off that paralysis. It is going to go with the Heart Swap onto the Water Steel type. It does switch all stat changes between the two, as out comes Hatterene for the Pony Stars. Revavroom is definitely going to outspeed that, going for the Glaive Rush, but that is not going to affect the Fairy types. And however, Empoleon, looking to follow it up, does go with the Retaliate on to Hatterene. Gets in some good damage there as well, but Hatterene is going to respond with the Eruption. Super effective, taking out Revavroom, gets in some great damage onto Empoleon. It is not super effective thanks to that water typing, but looking to avenge Carbink clearly, because the last respects from Gallade puts Empoleon into knockout range, and the heal off from Hatterene comes into play, curing Gallade of that status condition as the pressure is being exerted from King Gambit as it enters the field. Gallade losing that paralysis, immediately goes with the Sweet Scent out there on the field, lowering that evasiveness a great deal of the Steel types. And Empoleon is such an easy target, but with that competitive ability, it did get the special attack boost, as it is going to respond with the Noble Roar onto Gallade, lowering that physical attack of the Terrestrial Draftee, as well as that special attack, and Kingambit is going to follow it up with the Cosmic Power, so it is going to boost its defensive stats, including that 120 base physical defense. But Hatterene is going to go with the Facade, and it is enough to take Empoleon out of this matchup, putting the Pony Stars in the lead for the first time here, as out comes Lucario for the macros, and immediately it is going to go with the Magic Powder, but unfortunately that is going to fail. And this opens the door for a Facade from Gallade onto Kingambit. Very little damage, and it's lost that paralysis as well, as Kingambit is going to go with the Haze here on the field. Some all stat changes have been eliminated, but Hatterene is going to go for the Encore, and once again, we saw this earlier, it is going to fail. This allows Lucario to try and capitalize by going with the Coil after all those stats were set back to base. There is that attack and defense boost for Lucario, as well as the accuracy boost, as Gallade looking to respond with the Minimize. It is going to greatly boost its own evasiveness here, making it a much harder target for the macros, but the Draining Kiss from Kingambit, that is going to be avoided by Gallade, allowing Hatterene to try and capitalize now by setting up the Sandstorm. This actually favors the Ula macros. They are not going to be taking damage to that Sandstorm, but Gallade begins to feel the effects, as does Hatterene. Have to wonder what it was thinking, as Lucario is going to go for a Sandstorm of its own. Maybe Hatterene saw what was coming, but still to set that up itself. Gallade, though, with the Volt Tackle on to Kingambit, gets in some good damage, but there is a bit of recoil damage for the Terrestrial Draftee. Kingambit looking to capitalize, goes for the double team. It's going to boost its own evasiveness here, trying to make itself a harder target for the Pony Stars to take down, as Hatterene with the Strength Sap very intelligently. This is going to cut into that physical attack that was boosted as well of Lucario, but it's going to restore Hatterene back to full strength. However, that will not last very long, with that Sandstorm continuing to do damage down there to the Fairy types on the field. Lucario is going to set up for the Sky Attack, so it becomes cloaked in this harsh light as those wings take flight on this turn. Gallade, however, looking to capitalize, goes for the Inferno and almost gets the elimination of Kingambit. It hangs on by a thread, but it is left with the Burn. The Burn is going to take it out at the end of this turn, so Kingambit needs to go for something that goes for the Superpower, but that is going to be avoided by Gallade. Hatterene looking to follow it up, goes with the Brine, intelligently going for Lucario, gets in some massive damage. And there is that Sandstorm putting Gallade into knockout range. It does do damage to Hatterene, but the Burn is going to melt Kingambit off of this field. And again, the Pony Stars are starting to build a lead here with 5 Pokemon still remaining. It is Excadrill, though, with that Mold Breaker ability coming out for the Ula macros, as that Sky Attack is finished off from Lucario. Gets in some great damage there onto Hatterene, and Excadrill looking to follow it up, goes for the Aurora Veil, but that's a Sandstorm. It is not snowing over here in Ula Island. And Gallade looking to capitalize, goes for the Arm Thrust. This will be super effective if it can get all 5. It's got 2 massive damage, but unfortunately it is only going to get 2, keeping Excadrill in this match, as Hatterene, though, with the growth, it is going to boost that physical attack and special attack, and it is a frightening special attack with that 136 base special attack, as that Sandstorm continues to do damage here, putting Hatterene now into knockout range. Lucario could capitalize, but instead it opts to set up a light screen. It doesn't want to have to deal with those special moves, especially from Hatterene. Excadrill trying to do its part, goes for the Clanging Scales, but the Pony Stars are immune to Dragon type moves. They could capitalize greatly here, as it is going to be Gallade going with the Mystical Fire. Excadrill taking that super effective damage. It has its own special attack load here on the field. Hatterene is going to follow it up with the Bug Buzz, and that may not be very effective, but it is effective enough to get the elimination of Excadrill. The 1-2 combination from Gallade, and Hatterene is tearing the Ula macros apart, as out comes Magnezone for the last Pokemon for the side is the defense kill from Lucario, boosting its physical defense now on the field. Gallade, however, with the Tailwind, it is going to get that Tailwind to blow from behind the Pony Stars, trying to speed up Hatterene as much as it can, and it succeeds. It is quicker than Magnezone. It goes for the Leech Life, not very effective onto Lucario, but any health that Hatterene can get back is great for the Pony Stars, as Magnezone, though, is going to go for the Peck, getting the elimination of Gallade, who has been in this matchup since the very start. The Pony Stars have turned it around once Carbink was eliminated. It is Grimmsnarl now coming out for the Pony Stars with that Prankster ability. It immediately goes with the Fusion Flare onto Magnezone, melting it away here, but it is able to hang on after taking that massive damage, allowing Lucario to go with the Baby Doll Eyes, focusing in onto Grimmsnarl, lowering that physical attack that is base 120. Hatterene, though, is going to go for the dig. It's going to bury its way underground. We know that'll be super effective, as Magnezone is going to go with the bite onto Grimmsnarl, which is not very effective, allowing Grimmsnarl to respond with the Shadow Force, so it's going to vanish from the field. The macros are staring at nothing. Lucario has no target. It goes for the flip turn. That is going to be avoided by Hatterene, who is going to go with the dig to now eliminate Magnezone from this matchup. Lucario has 4 fairy types to contend with, and it's on the receiving end of the Shadow Force from Grimmsnarl, chipping away at it here. Lucario needs to go for something big, and it is praying, it is wishing here for it that it can come back from this deficit, as Hatterene, though, is going to go with the charge. It is going to begin charging power on this turn as it is staring down Lucario, boosting its special defense. As the light screen does wear off for Lucario as well, that Tailwind has petered out, but Grimmsnarl is going to go with the Feather Dance. Are they toying with the macros here as the stars are picking them apart? Lucario with the Swallow. This is going to fail. It may have to swallow its pride, though, as Hatterene is going to go for the Freeze Dry onto Lucario and gets that elimination with another not very effective move. And just like that, the Pony Stars have taken game 1 over the macros. And as these two sides do get restored, the macros need this win to stay in, as it is going to be Goodra in its Hisuian form, joined by Copperajah, its Ninetales in its Alolan form, with Fluttermane, as with that Snow Warning ability activated, it begins to snow here on Ulul on the Shift Gear from Fluttermane. It is going to boost that speed a great deal, but it's already the quickest on the field. The Pony Stars have full speed control. There's also that physical attack boost for the special attacker, but it's the spin out now from Ninetales, not very effective on a Copperajah, and it's going to greatly cut into its own speed in the process. Goodra, looking to capitalize, goes for the Will-O-Wisp, but that is going to be avoided by Ninetales as Copperajah looks to do its part. It is going to go with the Acrobatics, gets in some fantastic damage there onto Fluttermane, who is going to respond with the Water Pledge, going on the offensive, getting in some good damage on Copperajah, but Goodra responds with the Horn Leech, this time connecting with Ninetales, who does respond with the Stored Power, but that does very little damage there to the Steel Dragon, allowing Copperajah to go and set up the Wonder Room on the field here, so that will make it everybody's defense and special defenses do get switched. Fluttermane with the Pollen Puff, going for Goodra here, gets in some good chip damage with that not very effective move, but Goodra is going to respond with the Earth Power onto Ninetales, gets in some great damage there on the part Ice type, who is going to go with the Vice Grip onto Goodra. Very little damage there being done though, as Copperajah is going to go with the Heal Bell, and that bell is going to chime, but unfortunately it is going to fail. There is no status condition on Goodra, so actually maybe that's a good thing, as Fluttermane sets up the Electric Terrain here on the field. You'd have to think it would prefer to have set up a sunny day. And with that electric current running across the battlefield, there is the Leer from Goodra that is going to lower the physical defenses of both Fluttermane and Ninetales, as Ninetales is going to go with the Steel Wing on the Steel types, but that is avoided by Copperajah, allowing it to go with the Alluring Voice, and it is going to eliminate Fluttermane from this matchup whilst that Wonder Room is in effect, as out comes Primarina for the Pony Stars, and immediately it is going to go for the Thrash, doing very little damage with that not very effective move onto Goodra, who does respond with the Bulldoze, doing damage to everybody. It's super effective on its teammate. I believe it may have done more damage to Copperajah than anybody, putting it into knockout range, but it lowers the speed of everybody except itself on the field. It must want speed control as Ninetales goes for the Encore, clearly wanting Goodra to do more damage to its own teammates, but Copperajah here is going to go with the Toxic Thread onto Ninetales, trying to slow it down even more, but not just that, they're going to leave it with that Poison status condition, and it doesn't have a great deal of health to work with at the moment. As the snow does stop over the field, Ninetales begins to feel the effects of that poisoning, putting it into knockout range, and Goodra could capitalize here, but instead it sets up the no retreat. It is going with the Omni Boost, boosting that attack, defense, special defense, and that speed. That special defense is base 150, that physical defense is base 100. How are the Pony Stars going to take down this Dragon Steel type as that Thrash continues on to Goodra, who tanks that move, and Primarina is going to be left confused due to the fatigue, as Ninetales is going to go with the Horn Leech. They are trying to chip away at Goodra. They do not want to have to contend with this no-retreated Pokemon. And Copperajah could go for the easier elimination of Ninetales being dead. It's going to let the Poisoning do the work instead as it goes with the Sky Attack. Those wings go up high into the sky. Ninetales needs to hold on, but it is eliminated from the Poisoning. The Macros are in a much better performance in this game too, in this best of 3 series. And that Wonder Room has worn off on the field as now out comes Grimmsnarl for the Pony Stars. Goodra immediately with the Fire Punch, not very effective onto Primarina, still gets in some great damage with those boosted offenses, but there's the Floral Healing from Grimmsnarl onto Goodra. This is not what the Pony Stars need. Grimmsnarl must have wanted to help Primarina. Goodra getting in the way. It does get Goodra back to full strength. Primarina needs to shake off this confusion, clearly confused about what just happened, but it goes for the Hammer Arm to eliminate Copperajah, and the Pony Stars needed that one on the board. Maybe they can switch their attention to the other 5 members of the Macros whilst Goodra's on the field, but it is going to be Sandy Shocks coming out for the Ula Macros, who knows how to embrace this Steel typing. It has been an absolute threat all season long, and it wants to continue it here in Victory Road. And with that speed control, it immediately goes with the Self-Destruct. So maybe not as much of a threat as I was expecting. It is unable to get an elimination, as well as Primarina is able to hang on by a thread, but just like that, it is a level playing field because Sandy Shocks has eliminated itself with its very first move, but Goodra could capitalize, goes with the Will-O-Wisp on to Primarina, and you know that that burn is surely going to finish it off. Here, that status condition also cutting into the attack whilst Primarina is still in the field. Grimmsnarl with the Nuzzle onto Goodra. Very little damage, but maybe more importantly, it is going to leave it with that paralysis. So that is going to cut into that boosted speed, but also potentially make Goodra unable to move. Primarina needs to shake off this confusion. It is successful, going for its last move. It goes for the Sandsear Storm. That could be massive, but Goodra is able to get out of the way, even with that paralysis, trying to keep it in place. And Primarina is eliminated from the burn. And just like that, the Macros are back in front. And that electricity is going to disappear from the field as now out comes Lucario for game 2. It's going to be Gallade coming up for the Pony Stars, taking on its own terrestrial form once again. And we now know that if the Stars do not get through this game to face the winner of the Sinnoh Regional Semi-Trial, this will be the last time we see Gallade take on this form. It is the Toxic Thread though from Lucario to slow down Grimmsnarl here, but it is also going to leave it with that poisoning. We saw it afflicting other members of the Pony Stars. Those status conditions have been huge in this contest, but it's the nasty plot now from Gallade as the Stars want to advance to their first ever final trial. There is that special attack boost for Gallade, but the Acid Armor from Goodra is going to boost that defense even more. Grimmsnarl with the Swift connecting with both Steel types. Practically nothing happening to Goodra there on the field, but that poisoning is chipping away at the health of Grimmsnarl. And Lucario tries for the Draco Meteor, but once again that Dragon typing isn't going to affect the Fairy types, allowing Gallade to go for the Endeavor. That's not going to work. It has got too much strength at the moment, allowing Goodra to try and capitalize with the guard split, focusing on to Grimmsnarl here, sharing the guard between the two, but Grimmsnarl looking to respond is going to go with the Earth Power onto Goodra. They finally get some good damage there onto the Dragon Steel type, but that poisoning does put Grimmsnarl into knockout range, and Lucario could capitalize here, going with the Ice Fang to get that easy elimination. There's now 2 Pokemon remaining for the Pony Stars. There are still 4 Pokemon remaining for the Macros, but 6 Celerock chipping away at the health of Goodra there from Gallade, as Goodra is going to respond by setting up the Stealth Rocks for that remaining member of the Pony Stars. They will be taking damage as soon as they enter the field from those pointed stones, and it is going to be Florges coming out for the Pony Stars, and there is that damage taking place as we mentioned. Lucario looking to follow it up, goes for the Magic Powder, but again that is going to fail. We saw that earlier. Gallade looking to capitalize with the Ice Fang, going for Lucario. Not very effective, but it's left it frozen solid. Gudra's going to have to do the work all by itself whilst Lucario is frozen. Florges, though, with the Crush Claw, they're continuing to chip away at Gudra here. They want to get this dragon off the field. Gudra is going to respond with the Whirlpool onto Gallade. And that good initial damage does trap Gallade in the vortex of that Whirlpool that continues to do more passive damage with every passing turn. But Lucario is still frozen solid, which is great for the Pony Stars. They can focus in onto Gudra here. Gallade with the Yawn. And that is going to fail. It must have gone for Lucario. They could have been potentially putting Gudra to sleep, but the Aeroblast from Florges continuing to go for Gudra. Gets in some more good chip damage with that not very effective move. Gudra responds Infestation onto Gallade. Not very effective, but there is that Whirlpool continuing to do that passive damage. Unfortunately for Gudra, they do not stack, and unfortunately for the macros, Lucario is still frozen solid, allowing Gallade to go with the Seed Bomb. Not very effective onto Gudra. Still, they are chipping away. Florges following it up with the Alluring Voice to try and take Gudra out of this matchup, and they have finally taken Gudra out of this field. That no retreat Pokemon is gone, but it is Empoleon immediately coming out to the field as Lucario is still frozen solid. Gallade still looking to capitalize, goes for the block. It doesn't go on the offensive. They need to try and capitalize here. Now Gudra is gone. Florges with the parting shot. It will not be going back to the bench, but it is going to be lowering that physical attack and that special attack of Empoleon, who does respond with the Swagger onto Gallade. This is going to leave it in that confused state, but boosting that physical attack that we mentioned earlier, base 125, but it is in that confused state. It could take itself out, but Lucario is still frozen solid, unable to do anything. And Gallade needs to shake off this confusion. This could be crucial. It's successful. It goes with the Spit Up, though. It hasn't gone for the Stockpile, so it is clearly more confused than we thought, as Florges is going to go for the Petal Dance, capitalizing on that part water typing of Empoleon. One more of those will surely eliminate it. Empoleon wants none of it, goes with the U-turn. Not very effective onto Gallade, but it is going to go back to the bench, wanting no more of that grass damage from Florges, as out comes Magnezone for the macros, and Lucario is still frozen solid, as Gallade needs to shake off this confusion, clearly wondering why Lucario is still frozen solid, and it's going to take itself out of this matchup by hurting itself in its confusion with that boosted attack. Florges with that Petal Dance, it will be resisted regardless of who it goes for. And it is going to go for Magnezone. Still gets in some pretty good damage with that not very effective move, but unfortunately it is going to be left confused due to the fatigue. The macros could capitalize. Magnezone going with the Rain Dance. We'll see if it goes for a Thunder, as it does start to rain here over Ulu Island. But Lucario is still frozen solid, so it is practically a 1v1 matchup at the moment. Florges needs to shake off its own confusion. As it is successful, it is going to go for the Stockpile. We'll see if it goes for a Spit Up here, as Magnezone looking to respond, as those defenses do get boosted, both physical and special for Florges. And it is Magnezone going with the Dream Eater, but Florges is not asleep, so that is not going to work. And finally, Lucario has thawed out. It is going back on the move, immediately going for the Fell Stinger, chipping away at the health there with that not very effective move onto Florges, who snaps out of its confusion, and it is going to respond with the Outrage and continuing to go on the offensive. Still like that not very effective damage onto Lucario. Magnezone with the Acid on to Florges. Super effective chip damage there. Lucario following it up with the Magical Leaf, chipping away here at the health of the Fairy type, who responds with that Outrage, continuing to go for Lucario with that not very effective move. And once again, Florges is going to become confused due to the fatigue. And Magnezone looking to capitalize, goes with that Bolt Strike. Florges able to hang on by a thread. Lucario could finish the job here. It is thawed out. It goes with the Revelation Dance, and this is going to eliminate Florges. Who cares about the time when Florges is taken out? We are going to a game 3 as the macros have responded. And whoever wins this game will move on to our leaders' final trial, and it is Fluttermane and Primarina starting out for the Pony Stars. It is King Gambit exerting that pressure alongside Copperaja over the Pony Stars. Fluttermane, however, with that speed control, goes for the last resort, but that is going to fail. Primarina looking to follow it up, though, is going to go with the Sludge Bomb, and that is not going to work. on the macros. They're immune to poison type moves. The stars have done well to avoid that. The encore, King Gambit wants more of those poison type moves to come its way. Copper Raja with the Terror Blast, but it goes for Fluttermane, who is immune. Nobody knows what to do in the start of game 3. The Water Pledge though from Fluttermane, they finally get some damage, getting in great damage onto Copper Raja, followed up by the String Shot from Primarina. This is going to greatly lower the speed of the Steel types, but the Pony Stars already have full speed control, so you have to wonder what their play is with that, as King Gambit is going to respond with the Dire Claw, and it gets massive damage. Primarina is able to hang on by a thread. The Fire Pledge follow-up though from Copper Raja is going to get the elimination of Primarina, and just like that, the Ulu macros have taken the early lead in game 3. As out comes Ninetales for the Pony Stars. Fluttermane is going to go with the Acid. They are encoring with those poison type moves. This is not good for the Stars. They are immune, are those macros, but the Frenzy Plant from Ninetales onto Copper Raja gets in some great damage with a not very effective move. King Gambit, however, does respond with the Lunar Dance. So it's going to take itself out of this matchup, and the macros were off to a good start. That could be a very questionable play, as Copper Raja is going to go for the Spit Up, but it has not gone for a stockpile yet in this match. And it is River coming out for the macros as Fluttermane goes with the Overheat onto Copper Raja to get the elimination. Just like that, the Pony Stars have taken the lead. It does cut into that massive special attack of Fluttermane, however, that is base 135. And it is going to be a battle for speed. However, Ninetales does have to recharge, so Reverum can capitalize, going for the Roar of Time, but the Stars are immune to Dragon type moves, and I'm sure they want that to encore, as now out comes Sandy Shocks for the macros, and it needs to actually stay in this match longer than it did in game 2. We know how much of a threat Sandy Shocks can be with that swinging axe crown. At a horrifying sight, but Fluttermane still with that speed control is going to set up for an Electro Shot, so it's actually going to reboost that lowered special attack as it absorbs the electricity on this turn. The macros need to get it off this field, but first Ninetales is going to go for the Yawn onto Reverum. Reverum is going to grow drowsy. It should fall asleep soon, but before that can happen, Sandy Shocks with the Roar is going to cut off Fluttermane by sending it back to the bench, and out in its place being dragged is Hatterene. Reverum could capitalize here by following it up. It goes with the Electro Ball onto Hatterene, gets in some good chip damage there, as Ninetales is going to go with the Mega Drain, not very effective there, onto Reverum, as it does try to absorb that health, but it's already at full strength. The discharge from Sandy Shocks doing damage to everybody on the field, including its own teammate. It's left Hatterene paralyzed, though it may be unable to move, as Reverum, looking to capitalize, is going to go for the Expanding Force, choosing to go for Ninetales. Gets in some good chip damage, but Hatterene is able to shake off its paralysis, as it goes for the Revelation Dance. Not very effective, but does some really good damage there to Sandy Shocks, as Reverum has fallen asleep on the field. Ninetales is going to go with the Coil. This matchup is still anybody's, as the Pony Stars have 5 Pokemon remain. The macros only have 4, as those physical stats get boosted for Ninetales, as well as that accuracy, but it's the Wood Hammer from Sandy Shocks onto Hatterene to get the elimination. Level in the playing field. It is now a 4v4 matchup. And this is not the type of Sandy Shocks that you want to have to deal with in Game 3 in the semi-trials either, as Reverum is snoozing away there on the field. Fluttermane is going to return to the match, and immediately it is going to go for the skill swap. That is going to fail. Ninetales is going to try and do its part by going with the power split, focusing on through Reverum there, sharing the power between the two, but Sandy Shocks can continue on the offensive, going with the Defog instead. It is going to lower that evasiveness of Ninetales, trying to make it an easier target, but not for Reverum, because Reverum's still snoozing away. And Fluttermane looking to capitalize with the Inferno onto Reverum to put the Pony Stars back in front. The snoozing Pokemon has been taken out of this matchup. Ninetales following it up with the Dazzling Gleam, gets in some great damage there for a not very effective move. Sandy Shocks, however, responds by setting up the Safeguard on the side of the Ula macros. They become cloaked in that Mystical Veil. They don't want to have to deal with any more status conditions, as out comes Excadrill with that Mold Breaker ability, hoping to stay around longer as well. It's Fluttermane with the Take Heart. It is going to boost those special stats, those base 135 special stats, as Ninetales with the Sacred Sword is going to eliminate Sandy Shocks from this matchup. If the macros lose, that is the last time we will see Sandy Shocks take on that form this season. And Excadrill needs to follow up with something as it goes with the Night Slash onto Ninetales. Very little damage being done to the part Ice type though, as out comes Goodra for the Macros, who had a fantastic showing in Game 2. The Boom Burst from Fluttermane eliminates its own teammate with a critical hit, and it's not very effective on the Steel types. Excadrill looking to capitalize as well, goes for that Thunder Punch, gets in some great damage onto Fluttermane, and Goodra could level the playing field going for the Mud Slap. That does very little damage to Fluttermane, but it lowers its accuracy here on the field. Out for the Pony Stars though, it is going to be Tinkaton with that Mold Breaker ability of its own, as Fluttermane is going to go with the Aqua Jet on to Excadrill. Super effective. Tinkaton could follow it up here. It's going to go with the Charge Beam, but that is not going to work on Excadrill. It is immune, allowing it to go for the Glare onto Fluttermane. It is going to leave it with that Paralysis, which may make it unable to move, and as mentioned earlier, it will slow it down. Goodra following it up goes with the Vine Whip, going for its fellow Steel type in Tinkaton. Not very effective chip damage there. Tinkaton does respond with the Acid Spray. It should know better than that. It is a part Steel type, as we just mentioned. Excadrill looking to capitalize, goes for the Slam, getting in some good chip damage with that not very effective move onto the part Fairy type. Goodra following it up with a Charge Beam. They're going for Tinkaton here, as that special attack is boosted for Goodra. Fluttermane shakes off that paralysis, going for the Sand Tomb, putting Excadrill into knockout range. That is going to trap it in the Quicksand. It needs to hang on from this passive damage, but it may only have one turn left now, as it looks like that Safeguard is no longer going to work on the side of the Macros. The Sandstorm being set up by Tinkaton, which doesn't help its team, although it doesn't hurt it being a part Steel type. Excadrill with the Reflect. It's going to make the Macro stronger against physical moves. Goodra following it up with the Lock On. They need to get an elimination to level the playing field. The Macros want to advance to that final trial. Fluttermane, however, is going to go with the Heat Wave, getting massive damage onto Goodra, and more importantly, eliminating Excadrill. Goodra 1v3 against 3 Fairy types here on the field, but Fluttermane is feeling the effects of that Sandstorm, as Tinkaton is going to go with the Parabolic Charge, doing damage to everybody on the field. Thankfully, not very much to its teammate, as it is going to restore a little bit of its own health in the process, and we still don't know who that remaining member for the Pony Stars is, as Goodra is going to go with the Cotton Guard. We saw it go with that No Retreat in the previous matchup. It needs to go for something big, but it did just boost those defenses, as Fluttermane is unable to move due to that paralysis and takes more damage from that Sandstorm, putting it into knockout range. Tinkaton with the Leaf Storm going on the offensive, getting in some chip damage onto Goodra. Even with that critical play, that special attack does get lowered of Tinkaton in the process. Goodra responds with the Crush Grip, chip damage onto its fellow Steel type there. Fluttermane shakes off that paralysis, goes with the Acid Armor. It is going to boost that base 55 defense a great deal, but it is such an easy target right now. That Sandstorm may be the thing that ends up taking it out, as Tinkaton with the Stone Edge continuing on the offensive, trying to chip away at Goodra, who tanks that move, allowing Goodra to respond with the Parabolic Charge of its own. It takes Fluttermane out of this matchup. It's trying to restore its own health in the process, getting some good damage onto Tinkaton as well. It is now a 1v2 matchup. This is what Goodra needs to do. It needs to take down these 2 remaining Pony Stars members. As we're about to find out, it is Carbink, the last Pokemon for the Pony Stars. It is not about its offenses. The Stuffed Cheeks from Tinkaton, it is going to boost its defense here, as the Stars want to be able to take these hits from this massive Goodra, who is going to go with the Echoed Voice, immediately going for the part Rock type. It's not very effective. This allows Carbink to go with the Mystical Fire. It is going straight on the offensive, gets in some good damage, lowering that special attack of Goodra in the process. The Sandstorm has subsided, and that Reflect is worn off for the Macros. Tinkaton with the Fire Lash. They're continuing with these Fire type moves, that Dragon type, and preventing it from being super effective. The defense though of Goodra gets lowered, but that Gooey ability lowers the speed of Tinkaton. Goodra with the Leer, lowering the defenses now of both Tinkaton and Carbink. Carbink does not have to worry about it with that Clear Body ability, as it gets that super effective damage onto Goodra, and again that Clear Body ability prevents it from having that speed lowered. Goodra with the Mortal Spin. This is not going to work on Tinkaton, but it is going to work on Carbink. Does very little damage, but it's left it with that all-important poisoning that is going to chip away at that health. Tinkaton, however, with the Spore, it's going to put Goodra to sleep. This is what the Stars need. They are in full control. They need to take down this Pokemon who is in knockout range. And it is going to be Carbon going with the Rock Slide, still chipping away at the health of Goodra. The Stars, they're trying to move on to the final trial. The Macro is trying to hang on desperately here as that poisoning starts to afflict Carbon. Goodra is still fast asleep on the field. Tinkerton with an opportunity goes with the Throat Chop, and it's the Pony Stars that will be moving on. Goodra has been taken out of this matchup after some fantastic back and forth action, but it seems at the moment the Pony Stars have got the Ula Macros number as they will be moving on to the final trial, and we know that it will be coming from Pony Island as they will be facing the winner of that Sinnoh semi-trial between the Vilestone Breakers and the Eternal Devons. But with that said, Nidorinos, thank you so much for watching. Let us know in the comments below who you thought was the best on field, and if you enjoyed what you saw, please leave a like, share, subscribe, but more importantly, always remember, you are awesome, and I'll see you when you see me.